Will we ever get a sort of good Tim Burton film these days? Dark Shadows is the latest film to come out of Tim Burton's sort of fantasy world, and yet, and again, of his fantasy, he'll always have Johnny Depp playing either the main character or the supporting character. Hell, even if the guy played a supporting character, Tim Burton will still make him look like he's the main character throughout the whole film. The story of this film starts off sort of around the sort of 17th century, where Barnabas Collins moves from Liverpool to America. They get a sort of a town named after his family. His family's then sort of been killed, and so is his sort of love been killed because of this witch that he kind of sort of maybe have dated, and the witch to know as an answer and sidekick going on a killing spree also turned him to a vampire. And then got the townspeople to say now kind of put him in a coffin, bury him for like 2 centuries, and then he's discovered through workmen and whatnot, and as he awakes killing the workmen, he finds that there's still people in his mansion that are Colin, like it's Colin's family, but the thing is the family business isn't going as it was, and not only that, the witch that kind of cursed him is still alive and kicking and is again making his life a misery hell. Now, when you kind of watch the film, right, I do admit, right, the first like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or so, when you're going through like the 17th century and Barnabas is like kind of wee brief sort of talk, it's pretty good. And then all of a sudden it kind of changes to this woman character, right? And it's kind of like, that's, you know, so maybe it's going to go through like his eyes and Johnny Depp's actually the supporting actor. Oh, but no, as soon as like Johnny Depp's discovered, he then becomes the main actor of the whole film, and she kind of just gets into the wardrobe. I mean, she only appears in a couple of scenes later, and I kind of feel as though that's a bit annoying because I do love Johnny Depp as an actor, but I like him as a serious actor. You know, see when you see films like Public Enemies, Rum Diary, or even The Tourist, for instance, right? His acting's really good, and he's not sort of crazy. And again, you can be crazy, but still be a good actor doing it. And this, it's kind of like a toned down version of Jack Sparrow, and probably any other character he's played through Tim Burton, because Tim Burton doesn't know how to sort of make a film that doesn't have Johnny Depp in it, or even his wife Helen Carter, which kind of annoys me though, because Helen Carter, she can act. I mean, if you've ever watched The King's Speech, she can act. And in this, she's just like overused. And Eva Green's in it, and it's great to see her back, but I kind of feel as though she had to hold herself back a bit, because again, she's actually a really good actress, and I think she was trying to hide her accent or whatnot, but again, she was kind of like, she was there one minute, then she wouldn't be there, they'd be talking about her, then he wouldn't. It's kind of all over the place. And again, what's all over the place is kind of the genre of this film. The trailer kind of made it look like it was a comedy. And the thing is, it does have comedy elements in the film, and they are quite funny at times, and sometimes they are not. But it gets stupidly dark, like real quick. Like, when sort of Johnny Depp wakens up from the coffin with the workmen find, he kills all the workmen. Like, he absolutely slaughters them. And then there's a scene where he's hanging out with the hippies, right? He's talking about problems, and because he's having a bit of a trouble right now, and then after he kind of like discovers like, you know, what to do, he decides to kill them all. And that's kind of like, whoa, that's a bit much. And towards the end, it gets a bit dark and a bit ridiculous at the same time. Usual Tim Burton stuff. Now, I do give him credit. The film looks good. There's some soundtracks in it that are pretty awesome. It's great to see Alice Cooper in the film. But the problem I have with it, it's another Tim Burton movie, and he's not really been good lately. I mean, Alice in Wonderland was his last one before this, and I didn't really like that. I thought it was really disappointing. And again, this is actually extremely disappointing. And I just feel we'll never get a Tim Burton film as good as maybe Bride's Corpse. And that was even just an animated, or like whatever. Well, time for the score, and it gets the poor rating. Because, as again, it's very disappointing. I'm really disappointed in Tim Burton. I thought he would have learned from Alice in Wonderland, and he hasn't. And it gets a 3 out of 10. It's not the worst film this year, but it's close enough as the worst film this year.